Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the beginning of the Beis Halevi on AHAVAS YISRAEL as we embark upon this beautiful and uplifting sefer that Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach will infuse each and every one of us with a true love of our fellow Jew, which is something that is so much needed at this time in our history, and of course at this time in the year as we are crawling towards Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, and from there we will get to Shivasa B'Tammuz, the 17th day, which marks the beginning of the period of the 3 weeks, which leads to Tisha B'Av, the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. And we know that the second Beis HaMikdash, which is still lying in ruins, was destroyed because of Sinas Chinam, the senseless and the baseless hatred that one Jew had for another. And the way to be mesaken, to fix that up, the way to combat the years of 2,000 years of galus, of exile, is to master this trait of Avas Yisrael, of loving another Jew, seeing the good, feeling the good for them, appreciating who they are, wishing the best for them, so on and so forth, as we are going to learn together Be'ez Hashem. And so the Beis Halevi begins in his first chapter, which is called Mitzvahs Ahava, the mitzvah to love one's fellow Jew. Mitzvahs ha'ava l'kolecha, the mitzvah, the commandment, the mitzvah that we are given to love every Jew. Who mitzvahs asay is a positive commandment. Says the Beis Halevi, let's understand something before I even quote you the verse, which is going to be a verse in the Torah. This is not a nice thing just to love every Jew. It's not what we would call midas chasidus, where you're going above and beyond the laws that HaKadosh Baruch has given us. Like, it's a nice thing to love every Jew, to see the best in every Jew, to wish the best for every Jew. It's not just that it's a nice thing. It's not just something that's going to keep the peace between you and your fellow Jew. Every time that you express Ahavas Yisrael, the love of a fellow Jew, you are fulfilling a positive mitzvah, a commandment in the Torah. As it says, Shene'emar ve'ahavta l'reyecha kamoicha. Love your fellow Jew kamoicha, the way that you love yourself. And therefore, every single time that a person achieves this level, where they actually feel and express and act in a way of Ahavas Yisrael, they love a fellow Jew, you are being Makayim, you are fulfilling a mitzvah that it says in the Torah, a positive commandment to love him the way that you love yourself. Just as when you wake up in the morning and you put on your tefillin, you're Makayim, you fulfill a mitzvah. Just as when you sit down for a meal and you wash your hands and you make a bracha, al netilas yadayim, and hamaitzi on the bread, and you eat and you satisfy yourself and you say birchas hamazon and you bench at the end of it, you fulfill the mitzvah. Just like on Shabbos, when you're so particular with all of the laws and the details, and you fulfill the beautiful mitzvah of Shabbos every single week, you're makayim a mitzvah. So too, every opportunity that a person has to fulfill the mitzvah ve'afta l'recha kamoicha, you are engaging yourself in the ratzon of Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will. You are fulfilling and you are following through with the directives, with the commands, with the great schusim, the merits that HaKadosh Baruch has given, ve'afta l'recha kamoicha, to love your fellow Jew like yourself. Ubeperek b'meh madlikin, and in the chapter in the Talmud called b'meh madlikin, it says, Amru al mitzvahs hasezu, about this positive commandment, the following is stated: Shiklal kol haTorah kula. This principle of v'afta l'recha kamoicha, of loving your fellow Jew, encompasses all of the Torah in its entirety. Ki hi ma'naas hakina ve'akas milev v'chedoyme, says the Beis Halevi. Why is it that this mitzvah, v'afta l'recha kamoicha, loving your fellow Jew, expressing it, and as we're going to have to learn through this sefer, how does a person convince their fellow Jew that you really love them? How do you show them that you care about them, that you want what's best for them, that you think about them and you find ways to make their life better? How does a person do this? How do they eradicate the ill feelings that are in their heart, where they're harboring resentment, where they're harboring frustration, perhaps anger and disappointment in another Jew, and yet they're able to transform the emotional feelings in their heart to get to the level of V'ahavta l'recha kamocha? That, says the Gemara, is the Klal Gadol b'Torah. It is the main principle of which all of the Torah rests upon. Why? Ki moinas hakina, because it prevents a person from coming to a state of jealousy, v'hakas, and reaching anger. Milev, it removes your jealousy and your anger out of your heart, ukedoimeh, and any other bad emotions and feelings that you have towards a person. If you love them, it removes all these feelings. This is something that we have to speak about a lot. We are living in a very emotional world. People are wound up in themselves. People are wound up in their own mind and their own headspace. And there's so many things that people do to us that are bothersome. But if we will master this mitzvah of knowing how to love another Jew, we're going to free ourselves from all the negativity that we have towards other people, specifically towards other Jewish people in this world. Have a wonderful day.